Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Atelier Ryza, episode 10. The, not second to last, third to last, I guess would be a good way to put it. Only 3 episodes left is what I mean, essentially. And it really does seem like we are hyping up this weird monster they discovered in the forest as the finale, as the boss of the season, essentially. I was wondering, what's it gonna be? Is it going to be the journey to that tower that Lent wants to go to? Is it going to be perhaps fixing Lent's relationship with his father, assuming it can be fixed? Is it going to be giving the village a new source of water so that they can be a little bit more independent? Or what exactly? And my elastic just broke. Or what exactly it's going to be. Everything is shaping out to, or rather, everything's pointing towards the weird crystal monster as the boss of the season. Especially after the last episode, episode 9, where Empel and Lila set off to search for it, because supposedly, apparently, somehow, through some mysterious means, it might have been that monster who somehow summoned the dragon wyvern thing. It's not really entirely clear to me how that works, how that could have happened. But if I understand what they're talking about correctly, and I believe I do, that's the conclusion they came to. So yeah. What else happened in the previous episode in general? Let's do a quick summary. Well, the last challenge was put in front of Ryza, and that is to travel somewhere along the highway to some hut and read the words on the door, note it down, and get it back. Get it back to Claudia's father. And it was a competition against Boss, against Boss's little lackey, Lambar, and they were also given a town guard for a good measure, because everybody knew that Boss will simply not manage. I mean, he didn't even have a weapon, neither did Lambar, so the entirety of their firepower was that single guard dude, and I don't envy him. Especially after they were ambushed by a dragon that, it seems, Tao awakened when they found that weird tablet with writings on it in a castle ruins, and Tao touched it. It started glowing, and then they went on their merry way, and apparently that tablet, or that location at least, summons dragons because it's their resting place. Perhaps the past civilization used the dragons for transportation, be it the transportation of goods or transportation of people, I'm not sure. Perhaps both, perhaps either, we don't know that. It's still a mystery. And of course Ryza managed to fulfill the quest ahead of Boss, and on their way back, as it turns out, Boss and Lambar and the guard were ambushed by the dragon and folded really easily, really quickly. So of course Ryza, the bleeding heart she is, decided to help them, and they managed to drive off the dragon, although not really. They broke the magical glowing tablet, and that made the dragon just fly away. So they helped, but it wasn't like they, fought the dragon head on and brought its head back to the island or anything of the sort. No, they just turned off the thing that was keeping the dragon in the area, essentially. Now, the dragon is still free, still out and about, so it might pose some problems. And apparently the only way to get rid of it, to drive it off permanently perhaps, is to get rid of that crystal monster. Which I have no clue why, but apparently. And now Ryza is preparing for the eventuality that she needs to fight. She doesn't go and fight directly, which is great. I fully expected her to dive headfirst into combat. Oh yeah, let me kill the dragon, let me kill that crystal monster. Hell yeah, I have big bombs now. I'm gonna throw some bombs and, the hot-headed protagonist. But no. No, actually, she grew as a person and she realizes that it's kinda too dangerous for her. So let Empel and Leela handle it, but just in case the worst happens, knock on wood, the dragon comes to the village, it's better to be prepared to make some bombs, some, I don't know, maybe fix Lent's sword finally, would ya? Alchemy can do that. Do it already, honestly. do preparations in case the worst happens. We hope it doesn't, but, just in case. What else? Boss is still being boss, of course, despite being hospitalized, despite being put completely out of commission. And he woke up and the first thought wasn't, oh my god, I'm alive, I survived the fight with the dragon. No, his first thought was, fucking Ryza helped me, now I have to be grateful to Ryza. I would rather die than have to be grateful to her. I have a love-hate relationship with him. He's great as a butt of my jokes, but not all that likable as a character, not all that great as a character. I mean, I don't think he's supposed to be likable, but he's not likable on like a meta, from like a meta standpoint, right? Where you can like characters that are unlikable in the show. I'm not sure if I like Boss as an unlikable character. You know what I mean? Okay. What do I expect from today's episode? Preparation, probably. Ryza making some new bombs, unless that happened off screen, which is possible. Maybe finally getting to fix Lent's sword. Maybe giving Claudia some enchanted arrows, since she's allowed to hang out with them. Oh, I don't know what else. Yeah, Ryza is very episodic, too episodic to really think about what's gonna happen, so how about we just do? I keep yawning, it's time for me to go to bed, so let's get it over with. I'm just kidding. I mean, I am sleepy, but it's not like I just want to get it over with. I genuinely am interested in another episode. So let's watch it. To do that, you will of course need your subs. As you can see down below, I'm going to need my sound to hear what's going on. And I'm also gonna have to ask you guys for your support. Support the channel monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, cause nothing helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 10 of Atelier Ryza in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, starting straight with the opening, which tells me it's going to be a significant episode. There are two ways you can tell an episode of an anime is going to be important, significant. Either the ending is the opening is the first thing you see without the like a couple of scenes beforehand, or there's no opening, perhaps just a title screen and no opening at all. That is assuming, of course, the anime usually does the thing of a couple of scenes or maybe a recap, then opening, and then episode proper. Because there are some who just genuinely begin with the opening. And in that case, well, starting with an opening is nothing particularly different for them. Nothing different at all, actually. Okay. So, where are we? Chasing down the hunting party, right. So, probably having to rescue Empel and Claudia? Empel and Lila? So the dragon is still at large? Probably. Yep. Could Ryza perhaps supply the garrison with like bombs and magical weapons and whatnot? And doing nothing to do that. And losing. Right, of course. It deters the others. It blocks the path, of course. I mean, he's not wrong. Sure, he's driven mostly by emotion, but he's not entirely wrong. Okay, so that's the hunting party they refer to. Not Empel and Lila. Fuck do you want here? Now I will kill the dragon, of course. How fucking stupid are you? I like... I genuinely am unable to have any positive feelings towards Boss. Like, I know there's some tragic backstory bullshit, whatever, but... Like, he's asking for it. He's asking to be killed. And if he does get killed, I mean, that's gonna be on him. 100%. Yeah, that bomb wasn't enough. Probably because the dragon is a fire element and your bomb was a fire element. So maybe you need some water bombs or something. I mean, they probably could use some magic support, but... Assuming he's not drinking his ass off. Now would be the time for another... Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong. It's a waste of time talking to you. I mean, neither do you, since you're drinking it away. So, you're one to talk about the value of life. Is Lent going to volunteer? How did you not die of liver failure yet? Okay, so we are not getting Ryza to alchemize it. We're having Lent get his father's sword. Maybe not after all. Like, go to Ryza. Lent. Ryza can do fucking anything with alchemy. Yeah, your father ain't coming back, kid. I'm sorry to say. You wish. Okay, so Lumber is coming. Despite his wishes, probably. At least now they have some weapons with them, right? They're not coming empty-handed. So are those crystal monsters like ants or termites? They have scouts, they have warriors, they have probably a hive somewhere in the depths of the forest. And they're not coming back. What? Really? I mean, maybe, but I didn't. I don't remember seeing any cliffs. He probably isn't. He's the one to like run into the jaws of a dragon, screaming fucking for Scotland. Because Boss is a dick. And we don't associate with dicks. Basically. Basically. Is it still too high? But we have our own heads. Okay, what are you alchemizing? Butter, blood, and something brown. This whole sequence is just padding, isn't it? I thought it changes depending on what she makes. Like, sometimes there's the ice moment, sometimes there's fire, sometimes water and wind. But no, all four elements are there at all times. And fix Lent's sword already, for fuck's sakes. Ryza. Is there a way to fix my sword? I guess not. I guess I guess Lent is just going to fight with this breaking hunk of junk. And Claudia? Probably not. I don't want to die. I will stay here. It's fine. I don't have a death wish like you, madman. Or does she? Okay, she does have a death wish. He's not wrong. The bow isn't going to do much against the dragon, I'm afraid. Unless Ryza makes you some enchanted arrows, maybe some exploding arrows or something like that. But she won't. She won't even fix Lent's sword, so why would she make some magic arrows, right? And of course, Claudia is going to sneak out in the middle of the night, isn't she? Read up about them. What are their weaknesses, their strengths? Yeah, maybe some of those ancient texts mention dragons, exactly. And there was that thing. Okay. Yeah. And when it cracked, the control spell was dispelled. We are at Ryza's? At Ryza's. Is she going to break the news? Oh no! Why? I would never, mother dearest. Yeah. I mean, technically, she didn't volunteer for the hunting party, so... You're denying a little bit too much. You gonna steal your father's sword, Lent? Or ask Ryza for help. Your father is clearly useless, so go ask someone else. You're not going to fight the dragon, are you? Okay, so he knows, and he doesn't seem particularly against. Yeah. So maybe you are strong enough of an alchemist, after all. Maybe you're actually going to be better off being an alchemist and not a farmer. Okay. We'll see about that. It's obviously not going to be as simple, but probably simple enough. Itterashai. Was the mother listening in? She was. Okay. So Ryza has an indirect approval of her parents. That's nice. And is Lent's father going to give him... Oh, okay, I guess it's waiting for him. That's certainly a much nicer sword. I like that Lent's sword has this, like, stupid handle up top, though. Okay, so maybe his father isn't entirely useless. And has Claudia snuck out? And he's going to witness Claudia running away? No, just training. That wasn't the greatest of aims, I'm afraid, my dear. You would need to score a bullseye to impress your father. Right between the eyes. Okay, so she used the first arrow to swing the target. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's cool, actually. That's actually cool. Not even staying behind to hear her father's opinion. Just, I'm leaving. See ya, old man. And the team is here, finally fully assembled. Only Tao doesn't need to sneak out and doesn't have any parental issues. I wonder what happened with Tao's parents. Does he even have parents? Is he an orphan? I don't know. Yes, we shall. A little bit. Assuming she's actually going to be useful with her arrows. I mean, she probably will. The dragon's downfall will probably be thanks to all of them, right? Lent is going to cut it a little bit, Claudia is going to shoot it in the eye to bring it down, Ryza is going to throw her bombs, and Tao is going to read some inscription telling them about a dispelling spell or whatever. But yeah, comparatively, Claudia is kind of the weakest link they have, isn't she? Ryza can blow shit up. Lent just got a brand new super sharp sword. Not only sharp, but super fucking heavy. So, you know, a walking guillotine, essentially. Tao has the knowledge and can bonk enemies with his hammer, I guess. And Claudia has arrows. I really was hoping that Ryza's alchemy is going to come in a little bit more useful. Or rather, that it's going to be a little bit, you know, more. There's going to be more of her alchemy besides just making the bombs. But no, she just made a bomb, a single one, actually, that's shaped like a rose, and that's the extent of her alchemizing. Final battle at a castle. Okay, so it's going to be the dragon. That's the finale. Well, I assume at least that the... or rather, it's not going to be the finale. Fighting the dragon is going to be episode 11, the penultimate one, and the final episode will probably be the second part of the fight, coming back to the village and having a party or something, as is usually the case. Okay, so how about we watch it again, shall we? Yes, we shall. And I should have set it up before I switched the view. But there we go. There we go. Starting with the opening, of course. Ample isn't around, of course. And yeah, if the dragon is still out and about, I honestly thought the dragon just came back from to wherever he came from, to some mountains or somewhere, you know, somewhere far away, and it's not gonna be back. But apparently, it remains in the area, so of course it's going to be a huge problem, especially if it remains around the highway, because the highway is the only way this little island village can have contact with the rest of the world, right? We know that on one side of the highway there be dragons, on the other side of the highway there be fucking demons, and only the highway is safe. If the highway stops being safe, well, people are not going to be willing to travel it, and trade stops, the exchange of, you know, just humans stops, which is also important to keep like a healthy population, right? You want to send at least some of your people to some big city to get education, maybe. You want an influx of people from the outside, even if just to keep genetic diversity in your population. So yeah, it's going to cause all sorts of issues, especially now that Claudia's father is here, who's a merchant. So of course he needs his trade routes. Maurice is like speaking the truth, or rather, he's correct. That's how I'm gonna say it. He's correct that the dragon must be dealt with. For all his faults, he's been trying to open up the village, open up the island to the outside world. And so far, it's been a very good influence on the village. So the dragon stands in direct opposition of his goals. And of course there's the fucking priest or whatever. Oh, the dragon is the protector of our island. We must stay on our island like we used to. It is the sign from God. God himself wants to keep us on this island. That's why he created the dragon, to keep the outsiders away and to keep ourselves in. Why do they even have this priest? Just fucking ban religion on the island, honestly. Or at least throw him into the ocean. Keep religion, whatever. Change it, reform it to, you know, fit your views and whatnot. Besides that, I really don't think that there is any particular religion in this world that promotes isolationism to that degree. I think this guy is either a head priest of some isolationist cult that's taken root on the island, or he's a priest of some other random bullshit religion of the god of light or whatever. But it's just he himself who's isolationist and who uses religion as a pretense to say that, oh, it's God's will for us to stay here and whatnot. I'm not sure. We haven't really seen any other priests. We haven't seen any, you know, places of cult. Then again, we haven't seen that much of this or other villages on the island, so that's not realistic. Yeah, he's entirely correct. Whether it's a protector or a demon, it must be dealt with, because either way, it's a hindrance. Not something to decide based on passion, sure, but the decision is a correct one either way. And of course, boss. He has a death wish. Like, I feel no sympathy for boss. One, because he's entirely and wholly unlikable. Two, because I haven't been given a reason to not dislike him. Right? Like, usually when there are characters like boss in any piece of media, they are shown to be abrasive assholes. But then it turns out that maybe they have a good side to them. Or maybe the abrasiveness is because of something. Or maybe, who's that character? Who's that character that I said I really like because she actually is abrasive but helpful regardless. In which show? It was something I'm watching this season. Mahoutsukai no Yome. Of course, Mahoutsukai no Yome season 2. Cheese's roommate, right? She initially comes off as an asshole, kinda as an abrasive person, but there is a certain layer of care, right? She's like, ugh, oh, you really can't do anything. Here, let me help you, right? She's this kind of a character. There are characters who, sure, have some sort of a backstory that makes us empathize with them, right? Perhaps they were always an underappreciated child, and now they need to show off, they need to show what they're worth, and so they're making all sorts of decisions that can put them in danger, but they want to prove their worth. And people who are not hardcore into proving their worth, they are useless in their eyes, because your worth is your work. So if you take a break, if you have some fun, well, you're clearly inferior, right? There might be some past traumas, whatever. That's usually how those characters look. In case of Boss, there is none of that. They used to be friends with Boss, sure, that much we know. But besides that, all that we've been given is that Boss doesn't accept us. And that makes him even more of an asshole. Because they were friends as children, and then Boss arbitrarily decided it's time to stop being kids and start being adults. And you're a kid, you're a kid, you're a kid. I don't like you three. Right? That's kind of the picture we have painted right now. So I wonder if Boss is actually meant to be entirely unlikable and irredeemable. Because that's the vibe I'm getting. He doesn't have any good qualities. He doesn't have any backstory for us to sympathize with. He's not... We can't empathize with him. We can't sympathize with him. We can't understand his motives. I don't know. And of course he wants to join the hunting party because of course... Reckless, yeah, absolutely 100% reckless. Can they really fight that thing? Probably not. If anything, Boss and Lambar will actively put everybody else in danger. Because Boss will fucking trip on a rock, Agatha will have to help him and she's going to shield him from the dragon fire and she's going to die. Right? If anything, Boss and Lambar are an active liability to the team. Maybe I should have volunteered. Probably. They certainly would have higher chances of survival with your alchemy. Even just your ointment. Even just that much would make a difference. And of course it's useless. It's not even worth sticking to his scenes. Oh, I'm a drunkard and I'm angry and I'm useless. That's basically his character. Now sure, there shines a little bit of vague parental concern, kind of sort of deal in that, you know, here's my sword. But he's as useless as he's ever been, and I'm assuming he's not going to be any more useful in the future. He's just going to be the resident angry drunk. I will prove that the men of the Brunnen family are brave and strong. Maybe, but you you aren't. Lambert really doesn't want to go there. Why doesn't Lambert just drop his sorry ass? Honestly, at this point, it really looks like an abusive relationship between Lambert and Boss. I can see Lambert being friends with our main characters. Honestly, if he just drops Boss's ass and he would be like, you know, scaredy, awkward kind of a friend that they have that maybe is useful at something and doesn't really join them on their adventures, but is always there waiting for them to, I don't know, clean their weapons or whatever. Right? He's wasted on Boss. Scout's been here. It seems to have gone pretty deep. So they genuinely are just overgrown ants, it seems. On the volcano, they're taking a detour, whatever. Used to be friends, right? Why are you now so... I really was expecting some sort of a backstory to hit us, right? Perhaps something like Boss's father came in and said, hey, yo, Boss, you are whatever arbitrary age now. I have higher expectations of you. You shouldn't be with those kids playing around. You should be securing our family name and whatnot. I expected something like that to have happened. I expected maybe Boss to become super ambitious. Maybe, I don't know, something happened that made Boss think that, hey, I need to be the mayor of this city, of this island in the future. I need to be worthy of that because I want to make some specific changes. And so I need to be ready to have that torch passed on to me from my father. So he goes full, you know, work mode. And their ties slowly break. Lent, Ryza, and Tao are hanging around, still playing with each other, training and whatnot. Meanwhile, Boss constantly is with his father on, I don't know, business trips and whatnot. And, you know, I expected something like that. Something to give us an actual reason for why Boss is the way he is, and perhaps something that would allow us to empathize with him a little, understand him. But instead, all we get is this bit. He just refuses to accept us. Which really doesn't paint Boss in any sort of a good way. Unless they do some more with it in the future. I wouldn't cry if Boss died to the dragon. If he alone did. Because if there is someone sacrificing themselves to save Boss, I'm gonna be fucking angry. I'm gonna be angry. Because Boss doesn't deserve to be saved. Okay, so what is she throwing in for the rose bombs? A big fire demolition bomb, a brick, or a brick of C4, brick of cocaine, I don't know, something like that. And of course a vial of blood, like always. Skip, 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 skip. Rose bomb. It grows roses. You throw it and pff, roses. I know what it does. Maybe it's like a thorn bomb. That would kind of make sense. Maybe she wants to, you know, keep the dragon stationary, so she throws the bomb and then the dragon gets covered in thorns growing out of the ground and it's immobilized, and now you can, you know, smack him, stab him and whatnot. I have no clue. But yeah, the bomb is done. New secret weapon to beat the dragon. I was really hopeful at this moment. Is there a way to use alchemy to make tools that can help us climb a cliff? And there is Lent's beaten up sword in the background. Yeah, I think I can. And there's Lent. And there's Lent. Again. Ryza, could you fix my sword with your alchemy? Ryza, are we going to prepare some more with your alchemy? Empel taught me that I can help too. Okay, sure, whatever. With your reading, of course. Let's prepare for tonight. Let's prepare. What are your preparations, Ryza? Not fixing this sword. Not making special arrows for this bow. You just made your rose bomb and you just... done. Preparation complete. Maybe not. Maybe she actually did some more preparing. Maybe some holy ointment and whatnot, but... But we weren't shown that. There's no way I can allow it. What good can you do? That's actually a very good question. The only way, the one and only way I can see Claudia being useful is shooting the dragon in the eye. Anywhere else and the arrow is just going to bounce off. You've barely spent time training. She did spend a lot of time training, actually, so you're being a little bit unfair. We're fighting the dragon, and of course, some texts about the dragons in the books, which might prove to be helpful. A little bit of acceptance from her parents. I really like that. I really like that secondary and background characters also go through some growth. That Ryza's parents aren't constantly trying to keep her on the farm. That Claudia's father isn't constantly trying to stop Claudia. That the villagers aren't constantly being wary of alchemy. But people witness Ryza's alchemy and they actually change through that. Hey, that alchemy is a cool thing, actually. Hey, maybe my daughter is wasted on picking fucking tomatoes. Maybe she actually found something good. Right? I really like that everything goes through changes. Do you think you can beat the dragon? Apparently so. And the mom was also a witness to that. So Ryza has indirect approval of both her parents. Lent has an indirect approval of his father. I still would have preferred it if his sword was fixed by Ryza, but I guess this is a little bit more symbolic. I really like the design of this sword, though. I actually prefer the design of Lent's original sword to this new one. I mean, it's a cool design in its own right, but I really like that, you know, weird handlebar at the top. And congratulations, you can aim. That might prove to be useful. She wastes no time talking. just announces, I'm going, and goes. And that's it. Not even waiting for an answer. Team assembled. We can go. Hunt some dragons. And that's it. That's the episode. Alright. So that was episode 10 of Ryza no Atelier. And on one hand, it was cool. Because it really shows a little bit of that growth, not just to our characters, but also to their surroundings. As I said, that bit I really, really enjoyed. I'm a little bit disappointed, though, that Ryza's alchemy wasn't a little bit more prominent. You know? An alchemist is the perfect occupation, is the perfect role, a perfect class, whatever you want to call it, to be not just the DPS with all sorts of various exploding potions, but also the support. I really was expecting Ryza to, as I said, again, fix Lent's sword. But even if not that, I would expect her to make some fire resistance potions, maybe. Maybe some fire-resistant cloaks. Maybe some ice arrows for Claudia, or exploding arrows for her. I would expect her to prepare a, to prepare some ointment for healing people and give everybody, each member of the party, a jar. I expected her to give some useful items to Agatha and other people setting off with the search party. I really expected that. But it seems the only thing she alchemized, the only thing she prepared in this episode was just the rose bomb. And that's not satisfactory. It really isn't. It really isn't. I'm left wanting. I'm left expecting things that perhaps I shouldn't be expecting. I don't know how it looks in the game. Perhaps in the game the alchemist is a DPS class and just doesn't fucking help other members of the party. I doubt it, though. I really doubt it. So to have Ryza go through the whole spiel about preparations, tonight we prepare, and then earlier, oh, I'm not going to go with you, Empel and Leela, but I'm going to prepare just in case the worst happens. I expected to actually see those preparations, but there was none of that. I guess Tao is prepared a little bit because he read up about those dragons, maybe. I guess Lent is a little bit more prepared because he has a better, sharper sword. Ryza has the rose bomb. Claudia has nothing. Claudia has nothing. And if there is a situation, if there is a mission you want to be prepared for, it's hunting a motherfucking dragon. So I'm not sure what Ryza is doing, unless all those things, of course, happened off screen. And as they fight the dragon, Ryza is just going to pull a fire-resistant potion out of her ass and have everybody drink it. Entirely plausible. Suboptimal, less than satisfactory, but okay, I'll take it if that is what happens. Anything else? This episode also has an interesting theme about like parental acceptance, right? Ryza's parents finally accept that she's an alchemist, that she wants to go on adventures and whatnot. Len's father indirectly kind of sort of accepted him as a warrior and gave him the sword. Claudia's father, well, he didn't really have a chance to say anything, but I assume that he was so stunned with Claudia's performance that he simply forgot how to say anything. Tao keeps not having parents apparently, so yeah, there's that. And then there's that weird relationship Boss has with his father. Like, Boss's father is almost afraid of denying anything to Boss. Right? And the fact that our not main Court A, because again, Tao doesn't have parents, but the fact that Ryza's parents and Claudia's father and Lent's father are limiting them somehow contributes to their growth, right? Ryza had the need to prove herself, to prove her worth, and so she proved it, and through that she mastered alchemy to some certain degree. Lent was also driven by that to improve his skill with a blunt, beaten down sword. But if he can kill pixies or fairies or whatever they're called in a single hit with a blunt hunk of steel, what will he be able to do with a brand new sharp sword? Right? Claudia, also to prove herself, was training her shooting skills with reckless abandon. Meanwhile, Boss seems to have been given everything without any questions asked. Oh, you want your very own slave, son of mine? Sure, take Lambar. Oh, you want to kill dragons? Well, maybe that's not the good idea. Oh, go hunt some dragons, Boss. Go do that if you want. Right? I wonder if that's actually something we are supposed to pay attention to. How different the treatment is by their respective parents between our main group and Boss, or is it just completely coincidental and it's simply a narrative device, Boss's treatment, narrative device to characterize his father and himself a little bit. I'm not sure about that. Certainly an interesting episode, much more packed than usual, that's also for sure. I did enjoy it, but I wanted more. I wanted more alchemizing, that's for sure. I kind of got reminded of Shinma Renkin Jutsushi no Tenpo Heiyei, whatever, where the main character is also an alchemist girl who also goes on adventures for ingredients and whatnot. And she actually prepares. Shocker, right? Oh, we are going to a hot place to fight hot monsters, so I am going to make hot protection cloak. Here, you take hot protection, you take hot protection, you take hot protection. Now we are set to fight hot monsters in hot environment. Right? And I'm missing this like basic preparation in Ryza. The time they spent on that filler animation of alchemizing things could have been spent on her alchemizing a couple more items. And I guess this is my biggest issue with this episode. Besides that, it was fine. It was good at times. I don't regret time spent watching it. That's how I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything more to say, but maybe you guys do. And if so, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? There are no spoilers, but you can still use my Discord here and in the description. It's free, open to everybody, public and whatnot. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ryza and Atelier, but also Zom 100 Helk. Nana Tsunomakengashi Haisuru, Undead Girl Murder Farce, Magia Record, and Ancient Magus Bride. And I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon somewhere down below to be notified of when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to Magia Record and others, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful Patreons: QB Without the Net, The Corporal Survivor, Yankai Zhu, Dodger Skirmem, Zayrain, Rakamancer, Marsh Fassel, Dr. What, Yukala, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without the need to kill a dragon.